take over. I have it all.
Okay. Welcome. Maybe. Yes, I think we made it. At least I see us. And I think it actually went live before we thought it went live. So I think everyone saw David walking away. But David's here. I'm here. We are slowly getting started. Whew, it is a week, let me tell you. But welcome to everybody saying hi. It is October. It's actually been October for like 2 weeks, but I'm just now catching up to the fact that it's actually October. And we are still working on Hallhof, but specifically, we've been working on the orthography a great deal. But when we actually start and get into this week's poll, we're going to back up a minute because the poll was actually an Ingala poll for a name for the game. And David is back.
Oh.
Okay. Get on in there, David.
Yeah. Oh, where's my phone?
It's over here.
Okay.
We'll get situated once you get seated.
Hell's Jewelry, everyone. Okay.
Oh, yes, the Hell's Jewelry.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we're doing great. We're doing great.
Looks like we made it. Oh, okay. There we go.
But we do.
I'm going to put that there, I think.
Well, you can put...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so you can see it. I was going to say, it doesn't matter where it goes for purposes of all that. Oh, Magpie. Yeah, that stinks. It's difficult. Sorry, do I need to move
Next time we name the game.
Do I need to move things?
No. It's all right. All right. So we actually do have a thing. Sometimes you can move these. You ever notice that? Like sometimes it's like...
Sometimes it moves it when I don't want it to.
Yeah.
And then it's only when I don't want it to. I think you have to hit done to be able to move it because right now it's in typing mode.
How about that? Nope.
No.
No.
I don't know. It only happens when I don't want it to happen.
Me
and
too,
I'm
I've noticed. I've noticed. Yeah.
David's trying to move things in a note, like on our notes app, and it's like in a list format. And what we've noticed is like the only time it doesn't work is when we don't want it to. Just like we were playing a game with John Quijada, and in the game there was this particular function where you had to roll a 7 or 11, and the only time we didn't want the 7 or 11 to actually occur, we rolled a 7 or 11.
Yep.
And the one time, the like 3 times in a row that we actually needed it to occur, we did not. It was a very backwards lucky game for us. Great game though. It was called Burgle Brothers 2.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's a cooperative game where you're trying to get in and out of a casino.
Yeah.
All heist-like. Really fun, but...
Yeah, I recommend there.
The odds were against us at times.
Yeah. So, okay. The poll this week. By the way, I discovered a new allergy over the weekend. So if I have to get up
and
at
by weekend,
times,
you mean like yesterday, which was not a weekend.
It felt like a weekend.
It was a Wednesday.
It felt like a weekend. And so, yeah, I... electric burglar. That's great. Anyway, so I'm recovering from that today. I think, it's the worst of it. And, so I should be all right, but I may have to jump up. I'll try to warn you for my sneezeroos.
Yeah.
Because your little sneezy doodle poo has been
very sneezy.
Has been sneezerific.
It's been a rough 24 hours, but David's survived. Actually been a rough 48 hours.
Yeah.
We have survived. Okay,
so this week's poll was to how do we say this? We were going to come up with a name for the board game that the languages we've been creating are for, because as I mentioned in the post, the names that I've been using for the board game are either the board game or SFP, which is short for Shining Force Project. Anyway, so we wanted to actually have a name for it, and lore-wise, the name was going to come from Ingala. We kind of reasoned our way there, and so really we just needed. Last week we voted on the grammar behind it, and it tied, so we came up with two options. One, that it was either going to be our augmentative for the word for heart, that's what the name of the lake was going to be named after, or it was going to be heart followed by land, which is a inalienable possession. The possessor would come second, and the idea is that the name of the lake would be the land's heart, or the heart of the land. Anyway, so we sought suggestions for phonological forms that fit those grammatical patterns. I also made a couple of suggestions just because I had ideas. It was really just about, what forms that work sound the best. Really, that was it. Anyway, so we had a number of suggestions, and then there was a vote. Hold on a sec. I got this. I've been having issues with my voicemail not showing up, but I got a lovely spam message that I want to get rid of. You know what? It's not important. It's the 505 area code.
I'll look it up while you.
I can't wait.
Move on.
I can't wait. Okay, so this there it is. It just appeared. I want to
Albuquerque.
And in fact it says Gallup, New Mexico. There's a Gallup, New Mexico. Is that where Gallup polls come from?
Yeah, I think so, because Gallup is
a
major city, actually. No, major. Okay.
Really?
It is one of the bigger cities of New Mexico after Albuquerque and Santa Fe.
Those are the only two cities in New Mexico I know of. Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Okay, but anyway, what am I doing? Oh, I wanted to. Okay, so the suggestions for the name.
It's on historic Route 66. I will say it's smaller than I thought. It's only 22,000 people, but I don't think New Mexico has a lot of big cities after Santa Fe and Albuquerque.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. There's some lovely photos up there.
You're focused.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Oh, yeah. So the suggestions for the names. Okay. So, there were a lot of lovely suggestions. I think the only thing that I asked was that they be trisyllabic, because I thought 4 syllables was getting to be a bit much. So there was a suggestion for Udzuquema. I thought that was a little long and a little too complicated. But otherwise, we have kind of like a top 3. I will give an honorable mention to a really interesting game title suggestion by Arias, the title Public Service Announcement, You Need to Hit Load More Comments. That got 5 votes. That would be a pretty interesting title for a game.
Oh my gosh. You need to hit load more comments. I get it now. I get it.
I'm just kidding.
It's because for anyone else who was like, why would that be posted there? It's because when you go to the Patreon site, it only shows you like the top 3 comments or something like in the window. And if you don't hit load more comments, you'll never see like all 10 or 15 or 20 that are in there. And so Arias was doing a very kind thing saying, hey, like, don't forget to hit load more comments. Otherwise, you'll never see all of the suggestions for voting purposes. And I love it.
I was just trying to make a joke.
It was a funny joke once I understood what was happening. I think
if Bibleridian would have said it, you would have laughed.
Oh, for sure. But Bibleridian has the delivery, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I got kind of sidetracked. I do want everyone to know that even at its small size, Gallup is the 12th largest city in New Mexico with only 21,000 people.
That means there are 9 other cities in New Mexico that are larger than that I haven't heard of.
Las Cruces was one of them that I had forgotten about.
Oh. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
Roswell.
Oh, right.
Carlsbad. I mean, these are things you've heard of.
Carlsbad is a city in California.
Also New Mexico.
I've never heard of a Carlsbad in New Mexico.
Okay, David, sorry.
famous in
I have
California.
sidetracked you, and that is my fault. Usually I don't
All right.
do that as much.
Tied for 8th place, and I want to be sure was a suggestion by Arias. That was Fajema. And also tied for 8th place was Jake's suggestion of Sodalu. Both good suggestions. In 2nd place, there was Nisema with 11 votes. But Truth or Consequences is indeed a city. I've heard of that one. But finishing with 16, and like, I don't know, I feel kind of bad because this was my suggestion, but I threw up 2 to be like, not everybody has to vote for it. Look, I'm going to make 2 of them, But the number 1 vote getter with 16 votes was actually my suggestion, Sovála.
Oh, that's nice.
It's pretty good, I thought. So now it is everybody's job. No, that was third place with 8 votes. That was tied for 3rd place with 8 votes. Anyway, so oh, well, how about that? That's interesting. So now everybody's job for the rest of this stream is oh, I think Miles might be right.
Yeah, because the stress would be on the 2nd syllable, so it'd be Sovála.
Yeah, can you Lexergy that up, make sure it's true? Because sometimes the a change to an ah. Yeah, I think it is Sovála.
Can you remind me what the
Nobody's going to pronounce it that way.
the protoform?
Just put in Sofala.
I don't think we can do an O there, because I don't think we had a proto-O. Oh, I guess.
No, we did.
We did have a proto-O?
Yeah.
Well, because it doesn't think it's a prefix, it's stressing. Because it's a prefix, though.
Oh, it's
like it's
stressing.
Not,
yeah.
I don't know that
I don't
we
either.
did this. Yeah, we didn't do this for this language, where we actually put in the prefixes. And so it would actually be like 2 units, and so it'd be like like Sovála.
Okay.
But I'll double check in the grammar, but I'm pretty sure every time we use the so prefix, the stress was on the 2nd syllable.
Yeah. Well, nobody's going to pronounce it that way. That's kind of funny. But it'll be a private joke. Like, everybody who's from the West Coast knows that it's Nevada, but apparently all those East Coast people pronounce it Nevada, and it just sounds so silly. Yeah.
Yeah, because all of these stresses on the root.
Can you look at the word for rain and how it's pronounced?
Alu.
Alu. Huh. Yeah. Huh. Anyway, but yeah, it's pretty good. I think Sovála sounds a lot better than Sovála, but either is fine. But you know what? We're gonna stick with it. Okay, so.
And that means heart, right? Because it's great heart.
So F-A-L-A will mean heart. Fala.
Okay, entering them.
Yeah. All right. So there we go. Done. Sovála it is. Hooray. I'm still a little, you know what I mean? I'm still a little needing to get there. in terms of my wherewithal. Is this a separate symbol? Okay, can I have my book?
Yeah, in one moment.
Yay, thank you, Arias.
All right, I just put heart in, and now I will remember to put that down here.
Did I bring it here? Did I leave it?
I have no idea, so I'm gonna go on a little hunt.
Wait,
I'll be
you
back.
stay here.
No.
No, it needs me.
Oh my goodness.
Because it's something else is going to happen when I'm gone. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I forgot.
Did you forget it all the way upstairs?
No.
Oh, okay.
You just.
All right, so I'm entering heart, and I'm trying to decide. Maybe David can shout from a distance if that means I should enter Sovála as Great Heart. I will, yes. I'm going to enter Sovála as, like meaning Great Heart or the location.
Yeah, that's the name of the lake.
And I'll put C entry because then it'll be like Great Heart. And that is Sovála. Awesome, and that'll be under the S's, so we'll enter something there. And I think, yes, we already have. Okay. Wait, actually. That works. Okay, so there we go.
Ready to make my entrance.
Okay. And you have your notebook? You actually remembered to pick it up?
Yeah, I got it. Oh boy, I really like that thorn. I didn't know what I was going to think when I came back to it, but I really like it. And then also just for my little benefit, can you run through Lexergy and see if anything happens with to retain the if we put the W in there or the or something. I don't know.
I'm going to need you to specify that after I finish typing this entry so I don't forget where I'm going.
Oh, don't worry about it then.
But yes, I will be happy to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so what I was saying before I saw Miles's comment was everybody needs to spend their time now Googling Sovala and see if it turns up anything nefarious. Go to Wiktionary, see if it's a word in any language. Otherwise, okay, so I'm going to go back to oh, that's a really cool last name, Sovála. Okay. So the 3 with the tail is the mouse. Is there any glyph that's just the 3?
Okay, can you tell me what you wanted in Lexergy again? Because I'm in Lexergy now.
Okay, so I don't remember if we did anything like this, but in Castathan, this is an explanation for you and everybody else. In Castathan, there was a phenomenon called breaking. And breaking meant that short, high vowels broke in stress position. So E became yet, and U became wo. All right? However, palatal labialization is rejected after bilabials. So what that means is that something that would be pwo would be po. And that was useful because then I could actually create homonyms. So, like a potential cast then word like, poro, there could be poro 1 and poro 2 that have entirely different etymologies that coincidentally sound the same because the W is basically ejected. I didn't know if we did anything like that.
In Haughel?
In Ingala.
Um,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't warn you. Okay, so that would be Sovála or Sovála in Sanskrit. Um, Apparently, there are silk pants.
oh no, but Tabby says there's someone with that name in Finland. That means that's a
Oh,
good thing.
Sovala or Sovala?
I say it would have to. Well,
No,
if
it
it's a
would have
Finnish name, it would be
it,
Sovala.
it would be Sovala or it would be Sovala. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't think that this is anything. So these two should be marked in yellow, so I don't get confused. Okay.
The only thing I'm seeing is that we have I and O simplifying in reduplicated forms.
Oh, well, sure, tincture. So tincture says that Sovala is apparently a form of a Russian verb. What that would be a feminine past tense version of a verb, sovat. I don't know what it means, but that's what it would be. So that's pretty. That's okay. Um, Russian past tense verbs are great. They don't agree with person. They agree with gender and number, and that's it. So that's pretty cool, I always thought. And it's because, of course, they're actually participles. Sovat is to poke Arya's things. So Sovala would mean, she poked, or you or I poked in the past tense if you or I identified as feminine. Ooh,
Okay. So I mean, I checked these protoforms and they all just come out to puedu, puede, puidi.
what about with a ya?
Like
Because we have palatalization. I don't remember what the phonotactics, honestly, of the initial consonant clusters for.
we get piedi and piedi.
Okay. Well, we'll let Graham figure that out. These are really looking quite fine. I keep forgetting to do the code for this. But let's see what's next. Oh, this is what we should do next.
Ooh, a port in Greece. Poke or pop is the Sovat verb.
We're going to do this next. Which is the rock.
You know where the pens are, yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to take this actually. Put it right here.
So the Sovala pants that they're talking about is the groom wear for certain Indian weddings.
Oh, that's lovely.
So they're the kind of silk pants that have like the kind of sash that come down and kind of meet in the middle. Pants for grooms.
I have a couple of clothing articles that I either bought or were purchased for me from India, and I really love them, but you can't really wear them, which is too bad. There's a particular garment that I think is very striking for men. And I don't remember what it's called, but everybody will be able to help me with this. You know, because it's kind of like a curta. Curta is it's a it's like a long sleeve shirt on top, but it extends like all the way down to midway through the shin. Um, and I think it's just a really lovely fashion. And you know, this is nothing that I would have purchased or worn on my own. But when I gave a talk in um, Trichy, in Tamil Nadu, um, I was not just kind of like really encouraged to, but it wasn't necessarily required, but um, I was strongly encouraged to buy one and wear it for my talk by the students there, and so I did, and I really love it. I really love it. I think it's a delightful look. I liked the color. I like all of it, but it's just nothing that I can really wear usually on my own. I'm sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this. I need to find out. That's about 1640 is, I think. What's half of 1640?
820. In Henley, this is Font Lab 8.
Yeah. Let's put this
No, and Aria's answered as well.
1, 2.
I'm going to also add Sovála to the place names that we had going in the document.
Wait. Right now. I was trying to preserve this curve so that it looked exactly the same as the glyph that I took it from, but I guess that's not super important. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is delete this. No, I'm not going to delete that. I'm going to keep that. Well, I'm so glad that you are here, Henley. I'm so glad. Oh, I see. I see. It's not too bad. This is it's a little thick. A little juicy. I'm gonna actually bring this in so it kind of lines up there. It's a little thick. I mean, I know that that's very thick, but this is a little bit too much. I think we're gonna bring this in.
Oh my goodness.
By the way, on pronunciation, there's really nothing better than working with a native speaker, because as good as IPA is, at least for me, IPA is not enough to really understand how something is pronounced. You really, in my experience, you really have to feel it. So Russian is one of the languages that I took in a classroom at Berkeley, and it was taught by a fluent native speaker. And so like whatever the IPA says, I know how she pronounced it, and I can imitate that, you know. And it is not what I would call a palatalized stop. I just pronounce it the way she did. Yes?
Quick question. Am I good to copy and paste right now?
Yes, you are.
Because I'm finally entering Viren's word, terrain. So getting a patron word entered.
In Hauhoff or?
Hauhoff.
Yeah, it's saying now. It took a while.
No, it's Hauhoff. And I had it in the document. We just hadn't been doing entries. But now I am.
I think this is really lovely. It's 500 in terms of thickness. So the thickness that we've been dealing with is like 250. 500 is double. Let's see how thick. Uh-oh. Let's see how thick this is. That's 390. Okay, that's really thick. Let's see how some of these things look together.
I'm going to show you another update. This will affect the laptop only because we don't have this key on this keyboard. But now when you switch, it just shows you your keyboard options here.
Oh, interesting.
Instead of popping up as a thing. So a little FYI. That's a shift. Okay. So Viren, we now have a word meaning to rain. If you're here, I don't even know that you're here yet. Oh, hey, Alice.
Yeah.
But yeah, finally got that entered. Yay! And now I'm going to enter the words for our names.
Oh.
Oops.
Oh yeah, there's Viren.
Yay!
For those curious about what has happened on the screen, the computer is having a little moment.
Oh.
So I wanted to pull up some of these characters and see how they look together. We're not done with this little circle character by any means, but just in terms of the thickness of this circle character and the cloud character, it's a lot thicker than the other characters. But I wanted to just kind of see how they look together to see if that's okay, because it could be.
Right.
You can have variable thickness if it's kind of principled. So I was going to just take some, and now this character may be a little too thick. I don't hate it. It needs to look like it's supposed to be that thick is the issue.
Instead of sort of an accidental.
Yeah. And I would love, I'd love some thoughts on what, what you think, Jess, and what others might think. Just throwing another character there.
It is thick. And it's thicker than the one that's closest to it in terms of this third glyph.
Yeah.
I feel like if it were...
Arya says, I would support a thinning of the cloud in the heart of Tepiti.
Nice. They do seem to stand out a bit.
Kind of, I agree, Alice. That's a bummer.
Which is really, yeah, because it looks beautiful on its own.
And not only that, we've already finished off the cloud glyph.
And added
a
swoop.
So we're going to need to maybe set this one aside for the moment. Because even if we were happy with the thickness, that one wouldn't have been done. The curves aren't exactly right. We're going to need to go back to this. And, by the way, what I always do when I do this is, all right, if I'm going to make a major change to a glyph, I copy it, paste it, and put it in yellow. These are destined to be, in some unused area of the font that you can't even access, but they'll be a part of the font file. It's so that I can see, partly the history of creating the font, and also see that there were some characters that I rejected that maybe existed for a time. as I said, the thickness right here is about 390. And the thickest parts of all of the other glyphs have been somewhere between 240 and 260. So that means it needs to be reduced fairly significantly. You can see right down here it's 236. I do want this to get thicker as it goes along, and so it's got to be thicker than 230. We have two. This is getting up. Well, as you can see, it's very thick, but like somewhere, maybe even as much as 300.
An agent of suffix turning a verb into a noun, would you put that on the verbal derivation chart? Because it's added to a verb root, even though it says verb.
Oh, that's the verb thing. That's an artifact. We can change that.
Okay. But it should be down here, right? I mean,
yes.
This is brand, so I'm gonna have to change all this because this is.
Yes. You can delete that verb thing.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I was like, this is.
Yeah, the for Moana, they were trying to make it kind of like Pan-Polynesian, so they weren't supposed to be specifically Maori or specifically Samoan or anything. It was supposed to be, and so there's several of them. And in fact, the song I think is like that one song where it has English lyrics and then also lyrics in another language. I believe that is Tokelauan specifically, but it wasn't like that was the only language used. Okay, this will need to come in, which hurts. I think. Okay, what's the best way to do this? Maybe.
I think I'm finding some interesting things that happen.
Okay, now this is going to have to come back a little bit.
So I'm entering a lot of verb forms with, we had decided that we would have a suffix, turning verbs into agent of nouns. But we never like entered it or did anything with it. And so I'm trying to figure out what happens with a variety of verb forms, just to try to better understand.
Wait, if I press the Pages document, will it come up? Will Half come up right here?
Well, I already have it open, yeah.
So I can just do this. Okay.
Yeah, I spent all morning trying to get the computer to start, so nothing is open except what we're working on.
No, I understand, but I want to show people what you're doing.
It will be in the verbal derivation chart, but right now I'm still
Yeah, but
entering lots of different forms to figure out what columns we need for that chart.
the where this comes from, we were coming up with our words for our name words, the David word and the Jesse word. And in order to get an S, what we were going to do is create a suffix. It was going to be an agentive suffix. It comes from Proto-Ter, and it will show up as either te or se, um, depending on what comes before it. If a vowel comes before it, it's going to show up as S. And so that was, this is what Jesse is working on right now.
So what I've determined is that, as David said, the vowels make it turn into an S.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it is a palatalized one, like I.
Yeah.
In which case it becomes a he.
Perfect. That's what should be happening.
It's in its normal form for most consonants. It stops and changes things like it devoices a G in front of it.
Fantastic. That's what it should be doing.
And it becomes a D after a nasal.
Yeah.
So like gunte becomes gunde.
Yeah.
So that's so far. And like I said, I'm just looking for other forms that I may have missed.
And this is definitely by design. We want it to be doing this.
Because I'm trying to figure out how many columns I need. And I don't want to forget a column. But this will, of course, be important anyway moving forward for other verbal derivations.
I think this is a little bit better.
I feel like I found everything I need. Just in case. Oops.
Oh, Hunt for the Wilder People was really good. I forget. Did you see that, Jess?
Never heard of it.
It was a good one. All right. This is actually looking pretty good, but there is a slight problem. Basically, it kind of starts getting thick here, and then it like stays thick, and then it gets thin and gets thick again. The W shows up as a V before front vowels and sometimes before A.
In which language is that?
Hawaiian.
Oh, okay. I was like, that doesn't sound right for this.
Yeah.
Our only palatalizing one is I, right?
Yes.
So I think that's the only way we're going to get that.
Okay, we're now going to delete this node. Hopefully this will just fix everything. And it did. Now we have somewhat uniform thickness. And so we're looking at the thickest part is now 315. Yes, any diphthong with E causes palatalization of the next thing. If it ends in E. If it starts with E, it causes palatalization of the previous thing. Don't worry.
Was I worried? Were you worried? What's happening?
Was it? I think that's right. Delete that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some nodes here. Let's, come on, come on. Oh, it's magic, you know. Oy veyes mirror. That ain't it. Where is the old Bibster? 2306, 2307. Why do I insist on trying to eyeball things?
Oh, David, should you ask such things?
Thing is, I have to be zoomed out. Otherwise, I.
Okay, now I need to go through these forms.
Oh, I did it. Okay, excellent. Now we're going to delete some nodes and see if they will just fix our curves. Good. Good.
Hooray! Okay, I'm now pulling verbs to actually make the chart. I think I've determined the columns that are needed. I hope.
And after having done that, this needs to go back.
When you get a second, can you grab my little white and blue notebook in that pile on top of the pile right by you?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. It'd be easier for me to pull forms.
All right, let's go back and take a look. So, Jess.
Yeah.
Ignoring that one. Does this look better?
Yeah. It does fit in better.
Right.
Which is unfortunate because I liked the other individual shape better, but in terms of it looking like an actual set, it looks better.
All right. Okay. I delete this. Nope.
Here, let truly asked me. I was like, I don't know. Can you?
Can I do this? Nope. A little pointy.
Which one are you looking at?
This little curve. I was trying to mess with it. I was trying to mess with this curve. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that. At least not without doing this. No, I shouldn't have done that. All right. You know. All right.
Did you get it?
I don't know. I don't know, but I'll tell you what I do know. I did some. Just gonna stick with what I got. Down. Oh, sorry. Clearly a mistakey. Little mistakes. Well, come on now, just be reasonable. There we go. And then now, we're going to work on our new one. We're going to try to get a thickness no greater than 315. And the best way to do that is going to be like this. Put a node right here. Where's that? 820. We're gonna just make it straight. Delete that. And we're just going to move it on up to the east side.
Thinking the same thing.
There we go. That's That's 300. Let's drop it down. Get like 320. And now we are going to make it thicker. The thicker the other way. I know what you were thinking. I appreciate that. We're going to move this to over that way, this over that way, and this over that way, and just fix it.
Our romanization of here, so like ashe is sy, right?
Yes. And now we're going to fix this. The easiest way to fix it is to delete the node. Oh God, that looks good. Like, I really want it to be perfect, so I want to throw in some nodes to delete it, but geez, that looks good. I need Jesse to look at this.
Yes. Oh, that does look nice. Excellent work.
Yeah. Told you we'd get there. Okay, so this is what's half of 1780?
1780, 890. Does that sound right?
And we're at 874. That's pretty good. So now I want to see the distances between these 2 points. Try to make them even. $838, $686, $1170, $1043. It would be nice if those could be the same, but like somehow it's just working.
Yes.
Yippee-ki-yo, yippee-ki-yo, ghost riders in the sky.
This is an interesting question for you.
Allow me to transgress. Transgress. It's terrible.
Oh, well, you have transgressed. I'm not even going to look.
Good Lord. Oh my. Oh my. I think I'm just going to leave it. I know it's not perfect. I know it's not perfect. But it looks good. I think I'm just going to leave it. Alright. Whatever. So by the way, this is a shape, and it might be a shape that we need, so I'm going to drop it in yeller over here. And then the actual character, for reasons that defy me, since our patrons voted on it, is going to have this thing underneath it. And the actual circle is not going to be a part of the system.
I am going to In a moment, I'm going to want you to look at something and consider something.
Mm-hmm. This is going to need to be shortened up to work. This looks terrible. Absolutely terrible. Good Lord, that looks terrible. I can't even... What have you done? So for those who need a reminder, this character that we're doing, The Rock, finished 9th place in the voting. Very high up. This character, which was a ball, right there, same character with no thing underneath it, finished 29th. So we got to stick a thing underneath it, and it just looks awful. It looks like it does not belong. I'm also growing less enamored of this curve right here. I might have to fix that. But goodness gracious. I don't even know what to say.
Okay. While you're goodness graciousing, I have something for you to consider. Okay. And I apologize that I've been largely like just sitting here staring at things, but making a new chart just takes a lot of mental energy. I should have been talking out loud though, but then nobody would have seen what I was doing on the screen anyway, so it feels like it would have been a weird situation to narrate what I was doing while David's doing something different on the screen. So for all that, I apologize. What I am showing David now is a Lexergy thing where I want to pull your attention to. We have this verb, dajo, right? And its original root ends in a labialized K. And so da, however you end that syllable like that.
Yeah, lock.
Now we have a coda simplification rule that only applies word finally. And so when we add the suffix te to make it, I think this one is walker? Chew. To make it chewer, it keeps its labialization because it's no longer word final, but it takes the te suffix, which means when you look at it in Romanized form, so it's rule number 11, by the way, in terms of where that is. Where are our charts? Here we go. When it becomes Romanized, we have DAKWTE because, like, we're showing that it still has labialization because it's no longer word final.
I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah, right there.
Here we go. So we have, there it is. Lockwood.
Is that okay? Or do we want to have it apply, do we want coda simplification to apply word internally so it's a coda at all? Or do we want to say it applies but it doesn't get the copy vowel? So it just becomes dacte instead of dacte.
All right. I want you to stick with me here. This is going to be a journey. I want to do
When can I back out?
I want to do a poll right now with the viewers.
Okay, so
This poll is going to be to determine what the patron poll is. All right?
Okay.
Okay. The patron poll is either going to be to resolve this situation, and we'll come up with a number of different ways to resolve it, or it is going to be this character with its little diddly-do. All right? In other words, either the patron poll is going to be deciding, do we keep the diddly-do or shall we go back and delete it? Or the patron poll is going to be to decide the fate of these types of clusters, perhaps adding a new sound change. The one that does not go on to the patron poll is one that Jesse and I are going to resolve on our own right here.
Ready?
The fate of the world is now in your hands. Mr. Leridian, if you please.
Will be decided right here, right now. There we go. Now it's all in there.
All right, here we go.
All right, poll is coming your way. Woo!
Again, the one that you are voting for is going to be the patron poll.
The loser is what we're going to do here.
Yeah. That's right, anime fan. Based on our sound changes, if you take dajo and you add the suffix te, you get lakwate. Exactly like that. Dakwate. Dakwate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you can see, if you're looking at this derivation chart, we have not touched the knag forms, which are not viable in this system. So those are just extra rows from what was there. I have added in 2 extra columns because we need to have, for suffixes, we need to indicate if they follow an I situation, because that's going to have some palatalization effects. We need to see what, for other verb endings. But then we also have differences in how the root behaves if it ends in a voice stop or fricative, in a nasal, or any other consonant. So we needed these 5 columns, and I've put in real verbs that we've already made in our language to fit each one. And then I wanted the all others to be an example where theoretically it was supposed to lose the inserted vowel, and then realized we get some sort of weird situation happening. And so I wanted to show that this happens. We can change the verb if we end up changing the rule here, or we may have to add another column depending on the outcome.
I think we're pretty much done here, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
There's no way this is getting reversed.
Okay. All right, so.
When spitting out a milk tooth in school, what is a milk tooth?
I don't know. It's probably
It sounds like curdled milk situation.
I think people born in the Netherlands have an extra tooth that they can decide to spit out at school sometimes. And it's kind of a tradition, spitting out the milk tooth, but said in Dutch, I'm guessing.
It's a baby tooth.
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
All right, so this will be our patron poll. And for those who are concerned, I just want to let you know that the unchanged form lakte will be an option. So that this form actually right here will be an option. Anyway, all right, so this means that Jesse, we can decide this on our own. And Jesse?
Did you know that a milk tooth is also called a deciduous tooth?
No.
Because it falls out, like deciduous trees. They lose their leaves.
Oh, dear.
They're also called temporary teeth, according to this. Okay, so I am now ready to focus on. I've done. Okay, so yeah, in the U.S. and Canada, baby teeth is much more common. In European areas, milk teeth is more common. And some Asian countries refer to them as fall teeth.
Oh. By the way, Bibliradian says that this is an acceptable turn of events. Okay, so, Jesse.
Yes.
This is what we're going to do. So first, this character is in. This character. Are we going to delete that? Or are we going to try to change it so that it is more diddly than do?
Wait, one option is to delete it altogether?
That's right. That's what they just voted on.
Because this one did not make it in?
That's right. And they just gave us the power to undo this.
Well, doesn't it make more sense to have the basic?
It sure does, doesn't it?
I think we should have the basic, and then what should happen after that is if we need another something for the system, we can remember that the diddly-do is an option.
That's right.
Whether we need, I don't know, some sort of number form or something.
Isn't that so much nicer?
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, done.
Oh, democracy. How I love thee.
That was easy.
It indicated nothing, Arias. again, so the way that this worked was we just put up all these and said, vote for your favorites. And again, so this one was 9th place. This one was out of the running completely. And so it meant absolutely nothing. It was standing in place of grass because the rock was sitting on grass.
Okay, so while David is now working on this, I'm going to actually put the poll options right into the Hello document.
Okay.
So that way later when you do the poll post, since, you know, I let you do such things, you already have options with examples.
I'm just going to try something. That sounds great. I'm just going to try something. That's a lot nicer. It's not pretty, but I'm going to keep it. Oh, actually, now, hold on. Let's just see if this is going to... This is going to sturken my Durgan.
Wait, what was it? Schnozelmott?
That's right.
Is that the thing? I misheard you yesterday, and I totally thought you said Schnozelmott.
Yeah, I said Shazbot, which is...
Which I don't...
A reference. It was a reference. I think I am gonna sturgen my Durgan here. There we go. Lovely. And then I'm going to do this similar thing up here. There we go. My Durgan has been sturgened. And so this form can be starred. I'm going to actually put a star next to this form. And this one is going to get a skull. And
Wait, why are we getting a skull?
And crossbones, because it's not a form anymore, but we need to know that it has been banished to the shadow realm. All right, good. Okay, let's see what's next. Something that I absolutely 100% know is next. Have I done that? It's weird. I thought we did that. I've never Yu-Gi-Oh'd myself. I'm gonna do this one, and I'm gonna do a little change. I'm gonna have it built on the glyph that we just did, so it's not going to have the little off curl there. It's just gonna have the upsy doodle. And I think that's gonna be easy. Shit.
What happened?
Oh, no, no, no. I was just pronouncing that.
I heard something else. And it was like, and we've had so many computer problems.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Stay grammar tincture. Yes, that was happening. Okay, okay. You know what? That deserves a Copico.
It absolutely does. I like that.
Let's Copico this moment. Make it official. For you?
Dun-dun.
For me. Woo! I almost knocked my water bottle over. Still doing good.
Cheers, Beyonce.
Cheers. You won't get to say that for much longer.
I'm going to make the most out of it while I can. What's that line in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Yes. Something like, that, sir, is my fiancée. Remember? And then, he's beat up and kicked out of the Woolworths.
Yes.
When it's... No. I had something almost. I'll save it for next week.
When you need to save good things for the next week.
Copico. Slogan pending.
I'll get those in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So I have option 1. And I'm going to pull more examples to show how this will affect forms.
So let's try to... Let's see how we can combine these two. Might be difficult. This is probably going to need some massaging. Essentially, we want to try to get this little shape on here. Is that 318? Oh, I know what we can do. Oh, Arias, there's no embarrassingly long time to open a Copico. Those things are hard to open sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Magpie said. You can go through the stream. There have been a couple of times where a Copico has been jettisoned because we were,
Oh.
That's 787. 785. It's close. Let's try 311. And of course it was 311. Whoa, 786 is the note placement. Oh, really? Alice, I have to say that I am straight up shocked that Copico is not sold in New Zealand. It is, of course, a product of Indonesia, which is much, much, much closer to New Zealand than it is the United States. I kind of thought it would just be common over there. All right, so we know that this doesn't look good. But you know, don't worry. We're going to give it a little fix ski. We're also going to put a node right there. So this should be at, that's 10, 11, 3, 12. We're going to move that. I'm going to move this to that. Oh, no. All right. Okay, remove that overlap. Now we're going to get to the part where we make this actually look like not garbage. Let's start by... No, I think we need that node. So rather than deleting it, we're going to make it smooth. There we go. Something like that. Let's see if we can delete this. No, can't. That's gotta be there. So we gotta try to smooth this out somehow. Oh, and it would be nicest if we could. I think both of these things have got to be straight to do it.
Okay.
There's a lot of tippity tapping going on over there.
Now I'm going to pull up other forms to show what else would be affected.
Mm-hmm.
But here we have, if you want to go to the bottom of page 6 and the top of page 7, I've got our pull options. And I just wanted to pull some other verbs to show like other ones that are affected. And if you think of any others that I could add. So here.
Just for the heck of it, I'm going to we'll put it back, but.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Pulptions.
Exactly. And you can like make this a different color to make it stand out.
Sure. Let's spell this correctly. It's pulptions.
Obviously. But so right now, and it's important to know that this is sound change number 11 for the coda simplification as it stands. So labialized codas only in word final positions reduce and they lose their labialization. And then we add either an U or O vowel, which then later also causes the K to become a H. So da becomes daho. And so, my little dot is missing. I'll fix that because it is pharyngealized.
Yeah.
Adding the TE suffix to this form, as the word stands, it no longer undergoes that sound change because it's not word final anymore. So our options are to A, leave it as is. So this dakote will persist. B is to change the rule to apply to any labialized coda consonant. So this includes word internal ones. And so we would get dahose instead. And this is important because intervocalic lenition, which changes the T to an S, is rule number 15. So it applies after rule number 11. So it would not be dahote, it would be dahose, because that vowel would be inserted before the tsa shift. Yes, David.
Is that the best way to do this, or just say that the suffix applies later?
What do you mean?
That the suffix applied after the sound change that changes it from daco to daho.
So you want dahote to be an option?
No, it would change to S because it comes after a vowel.
Well, that's what is happening.
That's not quite what you had said for B.
So the root form going into it is actually daho before the te is added, and so dahose is our form.
Except
You can
that,
change the wording. Okay, so I see what you're saying. The question is if we want to get into this argument about.
okay.
So here's the problem. If compounds, we're going to have to decide when are they added, when are they formed.
Yeah.
So the suffix, so it really needs to apply. So this wording needs to change, and I'll fix that because it's not that the suffix is being added, it's that it becomes daho te, and then the lenition happens.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
Got
I
it. Okay.
misworded it.
Yes,
Sorry.
I understand. Thank you.
And then our other option is to add a late rule. Whoops, that didn't work. Our other option is to add a late rule where coda labialized consonants just lose their labialization with no other effect. And so like dakte would become dakte. And yeah.
Yeah, all three of those I think are pretty reasonable. So good options. Hmm.
Okay, I fixed that wording.
Hmm.
So, creating dahote after coda simplification, which then becomes dahose after the intervocalic lenition rule.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Tethys. So sorry. Okay.
Okay. Hey Jess, you see what I'm doing here, right? With the, I do, and I was also looking at Karis's comment, and no, we do not have a labialized T in any other situation.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
you
I
see,
I see.
this is what I had. You can see it's straight.
Yeah.
Do you think I should just continue with this or try to get that?
Are you also gonna do that down
No.
here? Okay, you're taking that simplification out. I feel, I mean, in a stylized form, the full-on curvy could totally work. I think in handwriting, you would eventually get what you've got going here, just because it's easier to change directions with the. But like that's in handwriting, and as a stylized font, going with some of what we already have.
Yeah.
I think having it all curve based is totally
That's exactly
a good
what
option.
you're saying. Gosh, this is so crazy. That has to be deleted, but it can't be. It's load bearing.
Okay. I'm just gonna see. Use forms.
This is crazy. This node has to be deleted, but it can't be. Oh.
What needed to be deleted? I'm sorry,
This node makes things very awkward. It's always nicer if the program does the curves because they're going to be perfect. If you put nodes in, it's essentially like, you know, it's trying to draw something with a mouse essentially, and so it looks funky and not good. However, I think that this node has to be here. I don't know. Maybe I can put it further up. Maybe I can put it at this extreme, and then delete that. It's like the further away it is, the better it will be able to handle a curve. No, it's got to be. I hate having to try to eyeball this. It's like that's what I used to do. As we put this up. There we go. Now, oh gosh, now it's too flat.
We apparently went on a. We have 4 L words in our dictionary, and 3 of those 4 have labialized consonants at the end and are verbs. We had a moment.
Yeah. Alice, if you're new to this, though a language cannot be copyrighted, documentation can be. And so technically, everything that we produce for a show is owned by and restricted by our non-disclosure agreements, so we can't just share them. In the case of the shadow and bone languages too, we have to consider that these are, you know, things that essentially, I mean, especially for me, I created for Lee. Lee Bardugo is a friend of mine, and so, you know, wouldn't share them unless she wanted us to. I think that's not bad.
Oh, yeah.
But also, this isn't news. This is, you know.
That's why, in general, what you see of the languages that we've created are or that David has created for shows before I just started doing all of it with
Before
him.
you started making it better.
What you see in the documentation is online is what shows up as dialogue in the show. Because that's obviously out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I need to know what this angle is. 60.3. This needs to come out.
Boy, this word looks funny. Chewer, one who chews food, looks funny when you type it.
Oh, in English?
Yeah. was trying to say the word in my head and I totally made a noise.
It was a good little duck sound.
Oh my goodness, that was funny. Okay. Am I good to copy and paste?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oops. I just pasted instead. Okay. Oh.
Interesting. Oh, cute.
Also interesting. We may have gotten a form wrong.
What do you think, Jess?
Oh, that's looking like a system.
All right.
And I like the little, yeah,
Cool.
that dipsy do makes sense.
All right.
Okay, so side note, we said that this form for to bury comes from this word. Incidentally, this is what I was trying to say in my head when I made the duck noise. And we have it as this. Luxurgy has it as luhu, not u.
Oh, that's a mistake. That's what it should have been if that were a Q. I'm not sure which form we intended.
Okay.
Try putting a Q. Make sure I'm correct about that, like into the proto form.
This one. That is correct.
Okay,
so maybe change the protoform to a Q to match.
Yeah.
Because we use it as a disjunctive coordinator or as a we use it elsewhere. And
Yeah.
so like I don't want that form.
I'm pretty sure that's what we intended. I think we need to go through and start tagging these here. Pointy ear. Where's Turquoise Dupree? Do we have him as just an icon?
Well, we have the name and we also have the icon, yes, or as a bullet point.
Well, I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna make these gold or something. Pointy up ear. Done. I would be delighted if there was a third season of Shadow and Bone. I don't know if there will be. Floppy ear. To wag of the tail. Tongue. Tooth. What's tooth? Oh, there it is. That's everything on page 1. Sit. No, I must be.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh. We need to make a we need to make a new word for ball. I forgot, these things are all interconnected. No, you know what? No, we don't. No, we don't. We're just going to say that that's what the glyph for rock ended up being. Never mind. So never mind. We're okay. Okay.
Okay, I have a whole little thing for you now.
Oh my God.
Examples.
Oh shoot. Sorry. We totally didn't intend this, but our glyphs and words for cloud and bush are related.
Oh, that's amazing.
And not only that, it looks like the diacritic is labialization. Because this is cloud and this is bush. And cloud is oh, bush is oh.
Whoa. Whoa.
Mm-hmm. My favorite part of the Grisha trilogy is actually the part that's coming, where the apparat takes over. The books, anyway. I don't know anything about a potential third season.
Well, as it is, y'all have to remember that pretty much everything in Hollywood came to a grinding halt anyway, for quite a while. So it's like we don't know about anything ever coming back.
Yeah, and the most recent news is there was actually a setback in terms of the SAG-AFTRA strike. But often the way it is you can't move forward until there is a pretty serious halt.
Yeah.
So.
Are these all the ones that are done?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thorn. There's Thorn.
It's super exciting.
Okay. This gives us a much better picture because, like, I have this, what's in my notebook, but this gives us a better picture of how close we are to being done with the major glyphs.
I want everyone to know that roughly an hour and a half ago was when I said, oh, I need to make this chart since it's going to be our agent of suffix and we need to have this derivation chart. And just a reminder, this is what conlanging quite often looks like, where an hour and a half later, you kind of have the start of a chart. And I still haven't made the entries for David and Jesse because we were trying to figure out how this form would work.
So now I see the ones that we absolutely have to have. But this labialization phenomena is interesting. What did we say was? I guess we hadn't done it yet. Where? Oh wait, it would have been after this. We were going to do the modifications. But there isn't one for, there isn't a labialization mutation, is there?
Not, you mean like that creates?
No, there's a palatalization, there's a nasalization, and then there's intervocalic.
Yeah, that's all.
Huh. Interesting. It's like we have the birthplace of a diacritic that we just don't have any use for. Unless... I
was going to say, well, it would have been nice if we could have applied it across the board if we had known.
Yeah. Well, where's L? Which one is L?
Tongue, 16.
Let's take a look. So that's this one. kind of hard to see how you could apply this to that. Just for funsies, let's see what happens.
Whoa. That okay, so you know what that
Curl it
reminds
under.
me. What's that?
We could actually curl it under.
Oh, sure, sure. It just like
Mm-hmm.
my immediate thought when I looked up was, oh, there's a little gnome hat attached.
Hmm.
Because that's what I see in these shapes.
Nice. So I want to double check something. Were we saying we were going to use mushroom for loi? Or was there something else I'm missing up here?
No, we're going to use it. That one was a word that I think I still need to enter. Let me double check. So notice everything else as the words were entered. We just left the sound behind, but some of these needed dictionary entries to be created. And this was one we had created, and I indeed did not yet enter mushroom. Oh, no, here it is. Yes, I did. It's because it comes out to a V word. So mushroom is entered, so yeah, that one's there. And I remember seeing squirrel earlier, so queju is entered as well. But yeah, those were just ones we had created, and I had made notes to remind myself.
Let's just for fun, since it looks like we're not even using bird, or was it?
Was pigeon?
Was
What was
pigeon?
pigeon? I think we did that because we already had a word for bird and it did not fit what we needed, and so we decided it would be a more specific.
Okay.
Yeah, bird is quav.
I just want to see what it would look like.
Ooh, guea means pigeon or dove, but it's a word that we decided was an old word from the Chihuahua language.
Ooh.
That then became like a more specific type of bird as quav replaced everything else.
So what we're gonna do?
We did some cool things in this language.
Yeah, this is a good one. There's about to be a small shenanigan is about to occur.
Love it when you get these shenanigans. I think they need to be like something really crazy in the plural, like shenanigander. Ooh, that could be the person who does the shenanigan. You're a shenanigander.
I'm not sure where that should be, but what I am sure about is that these need to be straight, more or less. So I think I need to go back and see where they straighten up. No, I don't. It doesn't need to be exactly the same. We're gonna straighten these up. So that needs to be at 250. This one needs to be at 466.
Ooh, look at that.
There we go. Now they're straight. And then we're going to create two more that are going to be at exactly the same places so that the in-between sides are straight. And then we can curve the bottoms. So that is going to be deleted. But this is going to be flipped over. And we're going to take it this way.
Woo!
Right? And now we're going to take these nodes and we're going to push them to curve again. Because now we're going to essentially just
delete them.
No. Oh. Well, wait a minute. We are going to delete those. Why are they like that? 250, 400, 250, 51, 466, 466. Yeah, so we just send these smooth, right? Yeah, there we go. Oh gosh, sorry. All right. See, so.
I love the end.
Yeah, I know. So it's not necessarily going to be straight a whole lot long. Maybe just like that. And then we're going to try to follow this curve and have it curve around underneath.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to
This is
need to add some notes.
looks like a cattail now.
Yeah, and see, it's just going to like curve around underneath. Those two, I'm going to make two more.
Speaking of cattails, David and I saw an amazing bookstore cat yesterday in a San Jose used bookstore. And there's just a cat who roams the bookstore and lets, well, as far as I know, it's just very friendly.
Yeah, it's a very friendly
Lets
cat.
everyone visit. You're creating a whole new aesthetic with that little bint thing. I think you should think about it. Oh.
I think I've just worked out that the sapient aliens I'm working on probably wouldn't be able to hear the difference between a lot of IPA consonants, but I don't understand acoustics well enough to say for sure. Well, Mr. Bibleridian, I recommend looking at the work of John Sovála because he was primarily concerned with acoustics. It has to do with essentially like, you know, whatever is being produced, right? It has to do with the receptors and essentially where the prominent positions relative to the curve, relative to the sounds that are being produced, where the nodes and antinodes of the sound wave are. That will tell you which sounds will be prominent. And this can actually shorten up. We don't need this.
Jake, would that be pronounced Sinanigancha? Is that close to how that would be pronounced?
What happened? If we did that?
Oh, I don't think that's a sad thing. It sounds cute when you put shenanigans into a no G language. Sinanigancha. I think that's fun.
I'm willing to come out against voice stops and say that I'm opposed to them. Kind of funny since my name has two of them.
Hafid has 2 voice stops.
-120, there we go. All right, let's just stop a moment and, like, you know, obviously I need to do some things to perfect this. Do you think that I should move ahead with this, or do you like the mushroom better?
Oh, so we're talking this or the mushroom.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what's going on here better.
Okay.
you know, I think you're obviously looking at the same area that I am in terms of problem.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Well, in Biblaridian, you chose that name.
Mm-hmm.
You could have been Piplarition. God, then we would have called you Pip for short.
Hello, it's Piplarition. You'd have a different voice if you were Piplarition.
I think so.
And you'd also have a song.
Well, Jake, I don't give voice stops any hate because I include them in a lot of what I do, and I rather enjoy them. And quite often, one of my favorite sound changes to employ is a voicing rule, whereby fricatives and/or stops are voiced between vowels or other voice segments. And so, even if I start a language with just a P, T, and K, it will often get a B, D, and G. And to me, I like that.
I think this needs to be. I think this whole thing needs to come
over. So Alice says that in New Zealand, it's a comically frequent occurrence to find traffic cones in odd places, like the tops of trees that don't look climbable, or on very inaccessible roofs.
Oh, it's like a little gag.
I guess so.
A little joke.
Sounds kind of fun. I had another thought, but now it's lost. I feel like it was a good one.
Were you lost because you were looking at this and saying, gosh, that looks good? Or was it something else? Do you think it looks good?
It was going from reading the comments on your screen to reading the comments on my screen, and I seem to get lost when I look down. And I was going to say something, and now I don't know, but this looks much better than it did, yes.
All right. Oh, I think as long as this part looks good.
Yeah. So Biblaridian, your destruction of voiced obstruents is like David's destruction of central vowels.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think I'm gonna remove the overlap. I'm ready to take that step.
Woo!
I'm not necessarily saying it's done, but I'm ready to do that at least. So now, circumflex.
Now I do want you to know it's 4 o'clock.
I know, but I want to just take a
look.
What do you think, Jess? Do you like it flat, or should we actually try to go ahead and make it a little bit rounder?
My first instinct was to say make it rounder, but there's something about the flatness of it that's kind of intoxicating.
Where's the other one? A acute. Let's throw it in as well.
I'm kind of torn. Because with so many other like really rounded curves.
Well, you know what that means. It means we have to produce another one so that we can compare. Yeah.
All right.
So that means that we're going to delete these and center this a little bit more. And maybe bring this out.
actually help because there is some sort of stop coming at the bottom.
Yeah. So let's. I mean, it could be fiddled with a little bit more, but let's just look at that and see what we think. It's O tilde. Just plunk it right there.
Oh, I think the O tilde is my winner.
Okay. I might spend a little moment like perfecting that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a yellow on this one, and just delete it from there.
Which is a shame, by the way, because I did like that flat look. There was something really nice about it. It just, when you put it in context of all the other ones, it really feels a little out of place.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, well, cool. Well, we need to get going. But thank you all for being here. And thank you for being a part of this monumental stream where David almost finished almost all the glyphs, and where I almost made a chart.
Yep.
Yay! We will see you next week. Until then, stay grammar.
Yeah, and by the way, season 5 is continuing, so I'll get that set up. Anyway.
Bye.
Bye.